Beta 6 for registered developers 1 week after the release of Beta 5. Now, along with this iOS release, Apple also dropped Beta 6 for iPadOS 17, watchOS 10, and tvOS 17. No macOS Sonoma update just yet. So here's a look at the size of iOS 17 Beta 6. It came in at just under 750 megabytes. So still a pretty large update. We've seen a large update for pretty much every single beta on iOS 17. If we go ahead to our settings and check out the build number, the new build is 21A5312C. So we do have a C at the end of the build number, which means that we are getting close to a final release. And then if we take a look at the modem firmware, that remains at 2.08.01 for the 14 series. So no update to the modem, but we did go from a D to a C in the build number. All right, so now what's new here in iOS 17 Beta 6? And the first thing is perhaps Apple's quickest response to negative criticism online, and that is a change to the end call button on a phone call or FaceTime call. So on previous versions of iOS 17, the end button was over here on the right. And a lot of people, especially on social media, were basically saying how they hated this change. And it seems that Apple listened and they moved it to the bottom middle now, which I think is a great improvement. It looks a lot better than it did before, where it was on the right hand side. It was always kind of hard to press and just kind of awkward. So I like this change. There's also a change in the animation for music on the lock screen. So if you tap on the album artwork, you will notice there's a much smoother animation here on Beta 6 compared to Beta 5, where it kind of just popped up there quickly. There's more of a smooth, slow animation than what we saw previously. I like this change as well. If we head into our settings and go to display and brightness, the glyph icons up top under appearance have finally been updated to reflect the iOS 17 wallpaper. And also the font has the new iOS 17 font where it says 941. So on previous versions of iOS 17 and even in iOS 16, we had the iOS 15 wallpapers. So Apple just completely skipped out on putting iOS 16 in this section, and they jumped from iOS 15 wallpaper to iOS 17, which is pretty funny. And we have that same change. If you go into display zoom, you can see it a little bit bigger right here, a change in the time and also on the wallpapers, and even the color of the icons on the home screen are a little bit different. If we head into the screen time section and settings and then to screen distance, we have a change to the verbiage underneath. Now it just says a recommended distance instead of saying too close for an extended period of time. We have a couple of changes inside of the messages application. So